exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paperboy, and today I wanted to talk about something or other that I just realized the other day. And that's, well, that I'm getting old, and also that I've been doing this a long time. And the reason this came to me is I was at the flea market and I was looking around at various tables, and I was there with a random neighborhood kid. And as we know, he's trying to get into eBay and he's trying to learn things. And I certainly have said it before, and it's absolutely true. I wish the opportunities were there for online selling when I was his age. Basically, email was just starting to come around at that point. So I'm pretty old to start with. Nobody was selling anything online, et cetera, et cetera. We're talking, almost 10 years before eBay was even around that I would have been his age. So I didn't have the opportunity. And I was walking around with him, and the question comes in, how much do I want to teach him? And I don't mean that I don't want to teach him, because obviously I do. I'm not worried about him being my competition, et cetera, et cetera. I'm more than willing to teach him. But how much do I want to teach him without it completely overwhelming him? And what the realization was is I went to one table and they had the Walter Black hardcovers of horses. A whole bunch, or Zane Grey, I think it is. I can't remember who it is. The Walter Black edition of the Zane Grey books, I believe they are. And just a lot of those, a lot of Western books. Those are generally not good. However, one of them in there goes for about $100. It's hard to find, and it's a rarer book because it's a first print. First time it ever appeared in print was within the Walter Black series. So I check, and of course I didn't find it, but I knew enough to check. Then I went over and there was a pile of kids' books, and I took a quick look through, and nothing in there jumped out at me, but a couple were, the Tip Top Tales, a couple of little golden books, et cetera, et cetera. And as I was looking through the pile, I knew exactly which ones I was looking for. And so on and so on. Comic books, a couple of different people had comic books there, and I went through those and I knew what I was looking for. And, all these various things, even with the little golden books, you look in the back in the gutter, is what they call it, and look for the A on the ones from about the 50s through about the late 60s. That's where you know whether it's a first print. A little bit before that, they didn't do it that way. They put it on the copyright page. Afterwards, they put it on the title page. And these are all just things that I absolutely know. I picked up a couple of other books, and I was checking to see if there was the debossed dot on the back, denoting whether it's a book club edition or not, and so on and so on. And just all these various things with all of these things that I've learned. And I guess I never really realized what 20 plus years of experience does until I was at the flea market and checking this out, checking that out. Is this good? Is that good? Here's the variation that I'm looking for in this. Here's what I'm looking for out of this series. Here's what I need out of this group. And I realized that I want to teach all of that to a random neighborhood kid, but obviously I can't teach it all to him at one time because it would completely overwhelm him and he wouldn't be able to remember it all. And as they say, nothing teaches like experience, and that's absolutely true. It's why I push him when he's going to be able to list more items on eBay. I push him to take chances on things because, again, he's going to remember the good things that he finds. He's also going to remember the things that don't sell so well that he ends up finding out there. And so I guess my point to anybody out there watching this is if you're just starting out or you don't have a lot of experience, I've been doing this since, selling on eBay since 2000, been doing it even before. And it just suddenly clicked 20 years after the fact, just the things that I've learned. And you just pick up things here, you pick up things there. You know that this is a good issue of the magazine because, you just know, oh, well, that's folded in half, so that's called a subscription fold on a magazine. And some of the old comic books too, Walt Disney comic books, the Dell comics from had that on, and they call it a subscription fold, and so on and so on. And you end up picking up the lingo of what it is you're selling, and you end up picking up all that. And I didn't know any of that. And so if you're starting out or you don't have a lot of time, don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed. There's tons and tons of videos out there to watch. There's tons and tons of bolos out there to watch, and so on and so on. But you're not going to be able to remember everything. You just aren't. And I guess I want to relate something that was taught to me back in college by my teacher of the tax class, and he said, "I'm going to give you the test for tax, but it's going to be an open book test." And he said the reason why is because it would be foolish to have you memorize all of the tax rules, because by the time you get out there, they're going to change. What I want you to do is realize that when you read the problem, because most of the problems were word problems, obviously, when you read the problem, say, hey, wait a minute, I think there's something in here that I need to know, and then know how to look it up. And so that's probably the best lesson I can give you today out of this video is you don't necessarily have to memorize which of those Walter Black books is the good one. You don't necessarily have to memorize which copy of whatever magazine you want, Time magazine, whatever is good. Just know generally, hey, I know it's one of these. I know this is out there. I know this could be good, and know to look it up. But don't waste your time looking up every single item, because otherwise you'll never get beyond the first table at the flea market. So that's probably the best advice I can give you. You're going to have the experience. Go out and buy and deal in as many items as you possibly can, because every item that you touch and you sell through and you go through, you get experience out of. I was looking the other day, and I know I've sold over 100,000 items on eBay at this point, and every single one of those items I purchased, I listed, I packed, I touched them the entire process along the way. So that's 100,000 points of knowledge that I have. Now, granted, some of them were duplicates, et cetera, et cetera. But, it's roughly 100,000 points of knowledge plus the other 15,000 that I have listed. And then on Amazon, I've got about 25,000 items listed, and I've sold, I don't know, 15,000 items on Amazon, something like that. So you add all that together, that's roughly 150,000 knowledge points that I've touched. And I do know more than I thought I knew. And that's only I only came to that realization once at the flea market. But the more items that you sell, whether you're at 1,000 items sold and 500 items listed right now, you've only had 1,500 knowledge touches at this point, knowledge points at this point. So if you keep going, you will learn a lot more. So don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed. Just step back, learn what you can, memorize what you can, because obviously if you have the titles memorized, it saves you a lot of time, and you can go through a lot more tables at a sale, et cetera, et cetera. Because you know exactly what you're looking for. That's good. But on the other things, because you can't possibly know it all, know enough about them in order to say, oh, I know one of these issues right around here is good. Let me check to see which one it is. I know something in this series is good. Let me check to see which one it is. Another thing that I do regularly, I do it once a year. I end up going out to a big antique show. And what I do before it is I go on Terapeak, and I search on various magazine titles that I'm likely to see. I'm not going into the super obscure, but I'm going into the titles I'm likely to see. Whatever, Family Circle, Time Magazine, Better Homes and Gardens, et cetera, Life Magazine. And I'm searching them by highest sold. And then I'm taking a look to see what actually sold. And every year I learn an item or two that I didn't know. Now I've not found those yet, unfortunately, so that part hasn't worked. But now I have another thing to look for when I'm out there. Because the market does change sometimes. Sometimes things do take off that wasn't noted before, and then somebody made a good noting of it on Therapy or on eBay, and then Therapy picked it up, and then now everybody's using it. Now it's a really good issue, that sort of thing. So take the time to do as much research as you can. The more items you buy and touch and sell through, the more knowledge you get. The more research you do, the more knowledge you get. So hopefully every Saturday on our Bolo videos, we impart some knowledge and give you some ideas. I know we've gotten good feedback on those, and people do enjoy those. And hopefully just in these general ones, we give you some overviews and oversight that you say, hey, I don't feel quite so bad. He's been doing it for a long time, and he's still learning stuff. So hopefully that helps you. And if you've been doing it longer than I am, God bless you. And I'm sure you know a lot more than I ever will know. So thank you. Do hit the like button, and we will see you next video.